Welcome to Sasquatch Cinema with your hosts,
Isaac.
and Steven. And we are watching the Patterson Gimlin film today from 1967 from Patterson and Gimlin. I don't remember their first names.
I don't either. I don't know. Well, I don't know anything. So
Yeah.
so I'm more of the guy who doesn't know anything when it comes to all Sasquatch and Bigfoot. I know little things from just cultural exposure, but Steven's more enveloped in that.
I'm much more squatchy than he is.
Yes.
And I will say I'm probably the bigger fan of these movies too, and I'm probably the bigger fan of Bigfoot. But it's great to have somebody to come alongside you, and to be the person that will listen to you as you scream into a void. It's not a void if there's somebody else listening as you scream.
This is true. But yeah, as we're gonna watch the original footage before we get into the movies or films themselves. We kind of want to just set the baseline for what Sasquatch is and what we believe in Sasquatch, how we believe in Sasquatch, and also just want to give some background on what we define as Sasquatch.
So we've got the Patterson Gimlin film up here because we must.
Yeah, we're gonna watch that.
I mean, it is actually it is supposed to be one of the most watched videos in history, like along with the Kennedy assassination video, the Zapruder film.
Oh yeah. The Kennedy assassination probably is like bigger because of the conspiracy and all of that.
Yeah. Yeah. But not necessarily hard to watch this because, under a minute long.
Oh, gosh.
I think what we're watching here is from National Geographic.
The shaky cam is hurting my eyes.
The violence is so real.
Oh, okay, come on, just stabilize the camera there, bro.
There we go.
There it is. The famous turn. Looking back at the guy.
Yep.
Hiccups. Why am I getting the alcohol hiccups right now?
That is wild.
It is shaky cam.
Yeah, and I think, to be fair, the guy that did this also did want like a movie career. That was one of the things he wanted.
Yeah.
So like, there's ulterior motives, but like also the guys, I will say, they stayed true to their, like, till their deaths. Like on their deathbed, they did not say anything.
Yeah.
So either they're just brilliant at schemes, or they really saw something.
Yeah. I mean, who knows? Like, it's definitely interesting, right? Like, the questions of like, why did they bring out a film camera into the middle of the woods? There's definitely like things about the film that is just like, or the footage. Some people call it film, some people call it footage, right?
Yeah.
It depends on what you believe.
Yeah.
Like, even looking at the YouTube videos, the one from 3 years ago, despite it being in HD and 60 FPS, it's called because it calls it film, it has less views. But the one that got called footage has much more views because I think people see it more as footage rather than film.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people very hardcore believe that this is a verified sighting of 100% proof that Bigfoot is real.
Yeah. I'm sorry, we're watching Bigfoot in reverse right now. And
yeah,
also,
it's
like,
very funny.
So I will say, one of the big things that people say about this particular video is that, you can tell that she's a female because there's breasts. And like, I've never seen it until now in terms of like when they slowed down the image, and that is very uncomfortable to say because it is, and frankly, it's uncomfortable to see.
Did you watch the part 2 that was linked there?
Oh no, I haven't seen that. All right, we're gonna rewatch this. But
we're
like,
gonna watch it in part two. Part two was 2 minutes long rather than 30 seconds, so
yeah.
it might be a little bit better. I don't know. We'll see.
But man, I'm telling you, I mean, also this particular video, like the 60 FPS
Yeah.
version, and it's stabilized. Really, is what we're going for here. Is
Mhm.
it's a stabilized version.
Yeah.
Like the issue with it is that I don't know, for some reason Bigfoot looks CGI. I'm
Yeah.
telling you, looks CGI.
Oh well, with modern editors and modern editing technology, you can do this kind of stuff. With this one, what he's doing is basically he's masked it to do one particular area while freezing the rest of the image. That way, we can see Bigfoot in motion without too much of the unstabilized and like shakiness. And he tries to clean up the image too to make it more visible. And now he's just having fun with the video editor.
It's
Like,
black and
whoa,
white.
yeah, more grainy again. Yep, he's just having fun with the video editor now.
Yeah.
Um,
This guy does not seem like a believer to me. This guy seems like a guy who had an editing project
yep,
and knew a guy who was into Bigfoot.
yeah. Or just was like, I am in film school. They asked me to edit stuff. I'm going to edit Bigfoot.
I'm expecting a Bigfoot YouTube poop in about 3 seconds.
This basically is a YouTube poop.
Yeah.
We have the audio muted, but like I want there probably is nothing audio wise, but
Yeah. Okay, we're gonna. Oh, it's spooky. It's spooky
spooky.
music. That's
Yes,
all it is.
yeah.
That's all it is. It's spooky music. Okay, now this particular one though, this particular shot that we're looking at, I'm getting real like gorilla vibes. Obviously, a gorilla can't walk like that, but the gorilla vibes are very strong.
Mhm.
And there's like a Bob Gimlin video where he's got images of Bigfoot that looks very sort of gorilla esque.
Yeah.
And I don't know. It doesn't make me a believer, but it makes me, I don't know. I guess there's a reason that it's like the second most watched video in history, you know, because it is vague enough and real looking enough to, I guess, provoke a reaction either way.
Mm.
But yeah, I don't know. I mean, there is, like I was just telling you, that weird story where John Landis, the film director, is supposed to have been the guy in the Bigfoot suit.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, would be fantastic. He did make a guy in a gorilla suit movie in the early 70s called Schlock, where he played like a Bigfoot type creature who just wants love.
He just wants love.
And so he steals a woman.
Oh.
Yeah, and apparently it was going to go a real unsavory route. And then, thank God, didn't. Not that none of those movies exist, but, you know, it's good that there's one less, you know?
Yeah.
That it's just him in a Bigfoot suit searching for love.
Yeah.
But I mean, we have evidence that at some point he was in a Bigfoot suit and he made a Bigfoot suit movie.
Yeah. I'd be interested to watch that movie and how similar is it to this footage, right?
Yeah.
Because if it is very similar.
Okay, if it's fake, I tend to believe at least the guy that, I don't know if he's still alive or not, but he's the guy who's the Gimlin part. Robert Gimlin, I think. I tend to believe him. He's the guy that you're looking at right here that's on the screen.
Yes.
Who's the cowboy fella.
Yeah.
I tend to believe him because he just seems like an old cowboy guy, and I'm going to be honest that I am biased in favor of old cowboy guys, regardless of the insane things they may or may not say and do. But he's stayed pretty true that he thinks it's real. So my thought is either uh, the guy that he was with, who did want to be a documentary filmmaker, and at least one of the theories goes, wanted to make a documentary about Bigfoot, basically faked it. So it's either that or it's that somebody played a trick on both of them,
Yeah.
or it's real.
Yeah.
And those seem to be the only real options. And uh, I guess we can basically say no, neither of us are believers.
No. No. And the main reason I don't believe is because if Bigfoot did exist at one point, they have all died out at this point.
Yeah.
We have explored and seen a lot of stuff in the woods by now. All that there's really not much more mystery in forests, or at least in America and Canada, for the most part. Though they are very well stuff. Now there are legends that go back to the Native Americans about these creatures, right?
Mm-hmm.
But to say that they still exist, it's hard to say.
Yeah.
And I think that people who dedicate their lives to chasing after Bigfoot, more power to them. I don't want to squash their Sasquatch dreams, but
Squatch their dreams,
yeah,
man.
I want to do that. But what I want to it's just, to me, I'm just I actually tend to believe more of the alien ideas than I do Bigfoot, simply due to the alien ones. There's a bit more mystery and a bit more unknown, and it's sometimes harder to debunk. While you watch Bigfoot videos, you're like, that's a guy in a costume. And with this class of footage, to me, when I see it, I kind of just see a man in an ape costume walking. And if they did see a legitimate thing and whatnot, maybe it was the last of its kind. Is very possible.
That I think is maybe an intriguing idea that I haven't necessarily explored, because I'll out myself. I watch Bigfoot content. Big fan of, on YouTube, Bob Gimlin. Really big fan of that guy. He's actually pretty convincing on some of the stuff that he talks about. At the same time, I'm still not quite there. I'm not exactly on point with saying Bigfoot exists, but I'm not necessarily against the idea either. I think there's enough evidence, I think, to maybe support that idea that maybe this is some of the last known images, of an actual pre-existent being, or a creature, an animal, a species that no longer is there. Maybe a last of its kind of thing. Because I gotta admit, some of the there are shots in this footage that make me wonder. But yeah, I don't know. I have a hard time saying yes or no on the Bigfoot issue. I will say, when I was a kid, Bigfoot and aliens were the things that I was worried about uh, when it came to supposedly real monsters.
Aliens was definitely a thing for me as a kid.
Yeah, I was scared to death of aliens, man. I was afraid to get. I'm still afraid to get
abducted.
abducted. Yeah, yeah, and now with some of the different theories for aliens and also different theories for Bigfoot, things just continue to get scarier.
Yeah.
I believe less in both now than I ever have, but yeah, I guess I would say I'm Bigfoot agnostic. Uh, and,
Bigfoot agnostic.
yeah, I mean, I might not be agnostic in any other way, but I am Bigfoot agnostic, and I'm willing to be convinced. I'm also willing to be like not convinced or
Yeah.
convinced of non-existence. Uh, I'm a fan.
Hmm.
I think the fact that we have decided to create this podcast has evidenced at least we are fans.
Yeah. We find Bigfoot interesting as a concept and interesting as a as a cryptid and as a mythos, right?
A
Like
cultural
our
artifact.
cultural artifact, and for how like big it is, and it's like I fully can believe that Bigfoot was once a creature that existed, and I think like if I was walking in the woods going off trail, I saw something that looked like an ape walk through the woods, then whatnot, yeah. And also, what's interesting to me is that there's so much mythos around um, Bigfoot that is interesting. And one thing this footage I think kind of debunks some of the other ideas almost of Bigfoot that we've created in the modern era. Like this Bigfoot is just walking away and looks at the camera guy like once and then continues on their merry way. Which I think debunks the idea of Bigfoot being aggressive or anything like that.
Yeah.
Because if that was true, like Bigfoot was actually like going out and murking people, then I think we would one that would have been a much more prevalent and accurate thing. And we'll see some films that take that liberty of like, no, Bigfoot's out to kill us and like all that and stuff like that. We watched one. It was Creatures of Black Lagoon, Black Lake.
Creature from Black Lake. Yeah.
Creatures of Black Lake. Yeah, we watched that one. Which we'll talk about that one later, of course. But like they go the horror route, and I think that's what's cool is like horror thrives on the unknown and the unknowable. Well, and so I think the little Bigfoot also adds to other genres too, like comedy and suspense and mystery and all those things, right? But so I think what's fascinating about Bigfoot is how adaptable they are.
Yeah. It's an open book that you can kind of you can scribble onto.
Yeah,
Uh, Bigfoot's a good prompt, you know.
yeah,
But I do tend to lean towards some of the stuff that was sort of prevalent in the 80s. No, not the 80s. Sorry, the 70s.
the 70s.
When we were still kind of dealing with, okay, well, about anywhere from 3 to 10 years ago, uh, some guys shot some video of a Bigfoot, and so now let's just make movies about it, I guess, because people are talking about it more. And because in that era, a lot more of kind of what you were talking about, that sort of peaceful, misunderstood creature, that vibe,
Yeah,
really prevalent in the 70s. And then when you get into the 80s, you get stuff like Creature from Black Lake, that's, it's more on the horror route.
mm-hmm.
We enjoyed that one.
Yeah.
And one that I haven't seen, Night of the Demon, where uh, Bigfoot's just super violent.
Yeah.
Apparently, like, eviscerates a guy and uh, just murders a whole bunch of people. And then, like, you get into the sort of happy-go-lucky stuff with Harry and the Hendersons. But, like, I really like that 70s era where we're still sort of grappling with the idea, okay, well, there might be something out there. What's it like? And sure, maybe it might do something that's wild and scary, but it also might do something that's wild and scary basically just in response to people being aggressive towards it. So I tend to like a lot of that stuff, but I'm sort of wide open. I've always liked Bigfoot movies, always liked the stuff that surrounds it. I always like the cryptid concept. And in terms of like stuff that we watch that might be a little bit more on the vein of documentaries,
Yeah.
I'm convincible. You know,
Mm-hmm.
um, I'm gonna be honest that I don't think they're gonna convince me. I've
Yeah.
already had pretty intelligent people on this subject present me with enough evidence for me to say, yeah, I still think you're wrong, but I get why you think it. Uh, and maybe one day somebody will convince me.
Yeah.
If we ever somehow get big enough to have Bob Gimlin, I'd love to talk to Bob Gimlin.
Yeah.
Seems like a great guy. Brian, I know is your real first name. I don't remember your last one. If somehow you ever hear this, and that's obviously another semi goal of
Yeah.
this podcast is we'd love to get some other people on who are into movies and people who are into Bigfoot.
Yes.
Maybe smash them up against each other every now and then.
Yep.
Maybe some guy that's just a really big fan of Dean Cundy comes on for Creature from Black Lake, and at the same time we get on a guy who doesn't know what a camera is. And
Yeah. Let's define a little bit more about this podcast and whatnot to sort of wrap up this
discussion, yeah.
discussion. Let's define what we classify as a Bigfoot or Sasquatch, which in turn, what name do we prefer? Do we prefer Sasquatch or Bigfoot?
I, for podcast reasons, I like Sasquatch,
Yeah.
but when I'm talking about this thing, I'm a fan of Bigfoot, uh, because I think that's evocative of sort of the cultural image. Sasquatch really is a whole lot more. I mean, also like the cultural root of Sasquatch is it's a takeoff of a native word that's actually Saskets,
Mm-hmm.
and so it's sort of like my understanding, and I could be getting this wrong. If we ever have a native listener, I'd love to be proven wrong about this, but I kind of think that Sasquatch itself is like a bastardization of the correct word. But regardless, I like Bigfoot in terms of me just talking to people about this. But for podcast reasons, since we're Sasquatch Cinema, I will say Sasquatch.
Sasquatch. Yes, I agree. I like Sasquatch mostly because Bigfoot also is like the singular, and then they say Bigfoots. It's like, well, Big Feets would be probably the proper like
Yeah,
plural. But Sasquatch, you could actually use. You don't have to add the s because you can say Sasquatch and mean plural due to how the spelling works.
I don't know. I think when we define Bigfoot, at least for the purposes of this podcast, I think we're casting a pretty wide net,
Yeah.
right? Like we're not just going North American Bigfoot, or specifically like Pacific Northwest Sasquatch.
Yeah.
We're saying like, okay, well, we would say like the skunk ape, that's gonna be a Bigfoot. The Australian Yowie, we'd say it's sort of like a Bigfoot. Yeah. The Yeti, definitely Bigfoot.
Bigfoot, yeah. Or a Sasquatch of some type, like species, right? There are other species of Sasquatch if we subscribe to that theory and that idea.
Yeah.
So we cast a very wide net of that, and really, when we really break it down, the net we have cast is Ape Man.
Yeah, Ape Man.
Ape Man.
If it's an Ape Man movie, or a guy that's in a gorilla suit that clearly is trying to be ape manish, we'll cast it wide enough for that. I think we're gonna exclude King Kong.
Yes, King Kong is a no because one, King Kong is his own thing. He has his own island. He has his own lore. He's also a giant gorilla. He is just a giant gorilla.
Yeah,
he's not a man of any sort. But what would be, in your opinion, the earliest Ape Man movie then?
Somewhere in the 20s, there was a stage play that was written called The Ape.
Mm.
And it was sort of a murder mystery where this guy escapes from prison, um, puts on an ape suit, and murders people.
Yeah.
Or maybe that, I think it was actually called The Gorilla. The Gorilla. Um, so I don't know what the earliest film adaptation of that is, but I do know that like there was an adaptation in like 1940 with Bela Lugosi and the Ritz brothers. Um, Actually, a much maligned movie, but I'm actually a fan of it. I kind of like it. I kind of get why people used to say that the Ritz brothers, like Harry Ritz, was one of the great comedians. People used to say that, um, but I kind of get it. I'm getting down that path, but we don't want to go too far down that path. Regardless, uh,
Well,
I'm saying probably the earliest thing, if you're gonna say ape man or the possibility of a cross species kind of thing, I'd probably put it at Murders in the Rue Morgue with Bela Lugosi. That particular movie has a sort of it has a bestiality vibe to it,
oh,
where Lugosi is trying to sort of cross the strains of um, blood between a woman and an ape, and basically trying to find a suitable woman for this ape to mate with to prove Darwin's theory of evolution.
interesting.
Yeah, very creepy movie actually.
Yeah.
And good ape suit. The great ape suit actor, Crash Corrigan, Ray Crash Corrigan, is the ape in that one. I think I would say that's the first sort of ape man type movie.
So Murders in the Rue Morgue.
Yeah, I would probably put it there.
Okay. So we'll be starting with that next, Murders in the Rue Morgue, as and whatnot. So because we want to get to legendary Sasquatch cinema, like Legends of Body Creek, and in like a film we mentioned earlier, the Monster of Black Lake. I don't remember.
Creature from Black Lake. Yeah.
Creature from Black Lake. We want to get to those films, but we feel like we need to start back. We started with the video that started it all, the true craze of it, right? Bigfoot
Yeah.
craze. But there's a lot of things we can classify. As we said, we're throwing a very wide net. So we're going to start with some of the more classic films,
Mm-hmm.
and we'll work our way down from that to Legends of Boggy Creek, where we enter in the start of the modern Sasquatch cinema era,
Yeah.
or eras, because there's technically multiple eras to this.
Yeah,
In this
for
sense.
sure. At least in our weird film theory brains.
Yes, this
Uh,
is not based off anyone else's ideas or theories. This is all made up on our own, and what we believe and what we like.
this is going to be our contribution of scholarship to cinema history, because we believe that you all need to know. You need to know the history, and what is actually, like, not all joking aside, it is kind of interesting that uh, Bigfoot, guys in ape suits, the Yeti, it's sort of actually played a pretty big part in the history of at least Western cinema. I mean, there's probably going to be some sort of Eastern stuff that we throw in there as well. I mean, I'm sure at some point there's like a giant Yeti that Godzilla fights or something. I don't remember. Um, and uh, and if that's the case, we will go down that route. But at least in terms of Western cinema, like the gorilla suit thing, at the very least, was a very big thing in the early years, in comedies, in adventure films, in horror films. And I would say generally, like, it would be hard. it'd be hard not to say like, oh, it was a cheap thing they could do. But actually, these gorilla suits were pretty well constructed and well invented, and we can go a little bit down that route as we go along, as we actually talk about that kind of thing. But where we are now, yeah, I think Murders in the Rue Morgue is a great starting point. We'll jump off from there and we'll continue forward. I know that we're going to be hitting some high points. We'll be hitting very likely something along the lines of, well, one that we actually have watched together, the Abominable Snowman.
Yep, a Hammer film.
Hammer film, actually pretty good Hammer film. Well shot, very well directed movie, and then we'll wind up through the 50s. We'll wind up through the 60s, and I'd say, the last Bigfoot movie that I can think of before Legend of Boggy Creek is one that I think is just called Bigfoot.
I think, yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not going to be a good one, but we're going to talk about
Yeah.
it.
there definitely might be some bad ones, but we're here to watch them and whatnot. And we're giving a little rating system afterwards. We rate the films based on one Bigfoot out of 5 Bigfoot.
Yeah.
Feet.
A scale of 1 to 5 big feet.
A scale of 1 to 5 big feet. Yes.
Yeah.
And honestly, with that, what would you rate the original footage since we've watched it?
I mean, it's iconic, but all right, let's just be completely fair to it. It's really shaky. It's really hard to watch.
Yep.
But there's like one image that might be one of the most iconic images in cinema, if you can call this cinema.
Yeah.
And it's that moment where Patty the Bigfoot turns around and looks mid-stride. For that, I think you gotta give it an automatic, at least, like 3.5 stars, just for that image.
Oh, you mean big feet?
Yeah, big feet. Yeah, sorry. Stars don't exist here. Maybe if we break off and talk about outer space creatures, then we'll talk stars. But right now, the feet.
Yeah.
Tarantino will be really excited about this podcast. But yeah, I think automatically it's got to be 3.5 out of 5. Just because of the iconic status, I think I'm going to make it 4 out of 5.
Okay, I see that. My rating for it is just 3 out of 5, just flat. I think it's iconic, and that's fully given to iconic. The shaky cam, the sad, very low quality of the footage, and that all of that combined, just I think take it down for me.
Yeah.
And I think it's but the iconicness and the iconicness of the turn itself, I think, are both important to Sasquatch history and Sasquatch cinema and Sasquatch just culture.
Yeah.
So that's why it gets just a neutral rating of 3 out of 5 big feet.
I think that's a very well reasoned response.
Yeah.
Especially since you did say, while we were putting it on the screen, on the big screen here, that it was making you sick watching this shaky cam. I think that's very...
in general, shaky cam is a very bad thumbs down for me.
Yeah.
Like, nope, no thank you.
At some point, we'll have to watch Willow Creek, which is a pretty shaky cam sort of found footage movie.
Oh, is it a Bigfoot movie?
Yes, it is. and it honestly might be one of the best. I watched this here on the farm with another friend, and it scared us pretty witless, to be honest. And if you're going for Sasquatch horror, if you're trying to say, okay, Bigfoot can actually be scary, yeah, that's pretty much what you got to go with. That's got to be the movie.
Yeah.
But we're gonna go all the way through it as much as we possibly can. We're going to watch as many of these movies as we can within reason, and we really hope that we catch a few people along the line to watch along with us. Whether you're friends that we know and can gather together with us, or whether you're people we don't yet know and might want to, you know, trying to find a community of people who like the same kind of thing that you do. Because I know there's got to be people like this out here.
Oh yeah,
that like these Bigfoot movies, regardless of how bad they are.
yeah. I'm sure there's people who enjoy it just as much as we do. So yeah, look forward to the next episode where we talk about murders in the Rue Morgue. We're going back all the way back to the 1930s. I assume that's where
I think it's 32. Yeah.
32, around 1932 and whatnot. If you all want to watch it beforehand, before the episode comes out, feel free to do so. Also, feel free to leave recommendations for the early days of Sasquatch cinema, or any films that we haven't heard of, or films that you would like to see us cover at some point. We will get to all of them. We'll have special episodes. We'll do all sorts of fun things on this Sasquatch cinema podcast.
Stay squatchy.
Stay squatchy.